woods where the mysteries grow.
Hello, everybody. It's Grizzly Bigfoot from Lexington, Kentucky, coast to coast, all around the world. We have special guests today. It's going to be very interesting what they have to say. How are y'all doing today?
Awesome.
Doing all right? Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Okay. Yeah, I'm Rosy Page from Night Hair Collective. Do I need to say something about myself? And this is Jason.
Jason Walker, congratulations for being on the show. We'd love to have you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Nice to be here, man.
So tell us about your background a little bit. How'd you get started in the field?
Well, I think with anything, it kind of starts when you're young. You know, you have those experiences and curiosities about the, ghosts and anything paranormal related. It could be Bigfoot, whatever. But those as you grow older, you start really getting interested into why are those things happening, where they come from, and what's going on with that. How come some people can see them, how some people can't? Why are they here? Are they here to give us a message or just hang around? What's going on? So, if you want to fast forward to 2018 when we decided to go all out and make a team and come together and do research, and then it's just been fast and furious ever since then. We've been pretty busy, and we're always doing something in the field.
And then COVID happened, so the fast part.
Yeah, right.
The fast part kind of became like slow and furious.
Yeah, then I got a report the other night that COVID is hitting China very, very hard.
Yeah.
So Lord knows what's going to happen with that. Unbelievable.
I don't know. I feel like since somewhere in the 90s we've been living through the end of the world. Seems like every couple of years. It's supposed the world's supposed to end, or we got a new disease, we got whatever it is. But it seems like no matter what, we still push on and do life like we normally do. Eventually,
Right. And I think the latest one, I think they're changing the name. It's called monkeypox.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's evil looking. That reminds me of leprosy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. It's even more crazy because it comes in contact with you by just touching somebody. So they say intimate contact with whatever, but they also say it's just past. You could be passing somebody in Walmart or something like that and rub, hit them or whatever, and you could get it. But as far as I know, if it hasn't changed yet, I know one person has died in Texas from the monkeypox. So now it's saying that it's killing people, but it's they didn't report what the underlying conditions were with that person, what their history was before that, but they did say that they died of monkeypox.
I'm sure there's been more than that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Always. People act
Dr.
like
Fawcett is retiring at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Let me get my little two fingers in the camera.
What'd you say?
Dr. Fawcett.
Oh, okay. I thought you said your boss. Like your boss is retiring, and I was like, what do you do? What is your job? What does that mean for us?
No. But it's amazing that if you go over the past 120 years, what America's been through and keeps going through, it's just amazing. I never forget the first COVID case.
Yeah.
And and I told my daughter, she lives with me, and I was like, here it comes. Brace yourself. It's gonna be nasty.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah.
It was.
And it still is still pretty bad right now. If you go to any facility that takes like emergency patients or whatever, walk-in patients, it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, it is.
I've went to two places this week and turned around and walked back out because they were letting people sit so close to each other that have COVID. And I was like, heck no, I'm out of here. I'm coming back.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they were stacked on each other. Literally, people were stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, that's just crazy. It really
It
is.
Mhm.
So, with your all's paranormal experiences, did you all have paranormal experiences growing up? Is that what got you into the field?
I think so. You deal with it. Like I said, your curiosities and wonder why you're scared of things you're seeing in the dark, or the monster living in your closet or something. You never really think about, like, why is that monster there? Where did he come from? What's going on? So again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, is like, when you're old enough to understand more about investigation type techniques, things, it's really interesting to dive into, why, what you're scared of when you're a kid. But I didn't have the same experiences as Rosie. That she's totally different, and more, I guess, more hands-on, more live in her experiences. So
Oh, wow.
I would say when I was a child, I didn't understand paranormal and I didn't know what it was. And if anything happened to me that was weird, I really just thought it was just something that was weird. You know what I mean? Like unexplainable or like coincidence. I guess I thought coincidental. And I didn't pay attention to stuff like that because I was taught to be in a very small Bible Belt type town to not really talk about that kind of stuff because people will call you crazy or they'll think
Oh,
you're.
absolutely. Back
And
then they did.
yeah, and that would be like, in the 80s and the 90s. And so then in the last few years, even if I try to ignore it, it doesn't matter if I try to ignore stuff because I have been trying to ignore stuff. It still happens. And people are like, that's just weird. That's creepy. That's scary. That's crazy. And I'm like, no, it's normal for me, but I just try to ignore it. And it still happens all the time. I don't know why. It just does.
So, what happens to you?
um, Well, when me and Jason ran into each other and started doing Night Terror Collective, what had happened is I didn't know who it was at the time. I just knew a spirit was communicating with me, and that was all that I knew. And covers were being pulled off of me, or like the
Oh,
covers,
wow.
like they were actually levitated and pulled off of me because I didn't pay attention. I guess the first time when they were yanked off, I was like, the weight of the covers probably made it fall off the bed. And then the next time it was, even more and then more and then more, obvious sign, I guess, or quest for attention from spirits and stuff like that. And then I guess now I'm just kind of like, there's good spirits, there's bad spirits. I don't always know which is which, but I know that they're around us all the time. All the
Are
time.
you a psychic or something?
I don't really call myself that because I don't like believing that word because I think that too many people use that word to like gain I don't know, maybe like notoriety, or they gain, something from that when they don't even actually really know like the whole entire field that involved of being a psychic. I feel like the word psychic really just means like you're more in tune. Like there's levels of connected that you can be. Like you're really connected, or you're connected in this way, or you're connected in that way. I don't know if that makes sense, or you're awake in different ways.
Well, it does, but it seems like you have a correlation with the afterlife somehow. Somehow it's entwined with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
yeah, her a lot more than me. I don't have any kind of psychic abilities or anything like that. I just and I just interested in, where things come from, and why they're here, and what happens after we die, and that kind of thing. But I do get more of a physical reaction from the spirits, but nothing really emotionally or anything like that. So.
Oh, let me tell you, sir, if you and I were laying in bed, you'd be doused with holy water like you took a shower. You sure would be. You'd be
Yeah.
soaking wet. So,
Does that mean that you have activity too, or does that
yeah,
mean?
I do.
Okay.
I had some growing up. I still have some recently. I just can't explain. So I know what people go through. Maybe not to their extent, but I have a lot of stuff that's unexplained. And my daughter does not deal with it at all. She does not like watching Bigfoot on TV.
Yeah.
Anything Bigfoot, she has nightmares. And she always asks me if I fall, because I had an injury a couple years ago. If I fell in the apartment, I'm like, no. Is that you? No. She's like, don't freak me out, Dad. So, and you'll hear my dogs from time to time just bark out of nowhere,
Yeah.
And I know they're Chihuahuas, so I rescued them about 7 years ago. But it's just stuff that doesn't add up on a regular basis. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So, what type of investigations do you all do?
Man, it really runs the gambit on that because we do a lot of residential stuff. We do a lot of we're in the process of doing one that's like an outdoor area that's in the woods and stuff, and we've investigated some of the most haunted places in the country as well. So we kind of do it all. It's cool because the way I do things is different than the way she does things, and it works together. So
That's neat.
it's just it brings those two ideas together, the way we do things, and it just works out. So it really makes our investigations lighthearted and fun as much as we can, and then take it seriously. So,
I feel like there's like a yin and a yang type of like thing going on. So it's like sometimes he might be in like the more serious mood, and I'm like, I don't care about anything. Like usually on the trips to where we're going, I'm just like in a more a less serious mood. But when we get somewhere, I'm all business, and he's like, oh, let's be more lighthearted. I'm like, no, we got to have our crap together, man. We got to
right.
what we're doing. We got to plan it out. It's got a little bit of organized chaos.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting that way. I guess it never gets boring like that. So
what type of tools do you all use on your all's investigations?
I'll let you go first. I'm gonna get some drinking coffee.
Yeah, no, it kind of again it runs the gambit of that too, as far as just using a flashlight, your cell phone, to using the latest equipment, which we've been able to do that too. So it varies. It can go from like I said, the high tech stuff to dowsing rods, and we really try to utilize everything in between. The most important tool that I think of is having a flashlight, and you use your cell phone for anything. Take pictures, video, good EVP. Your mic on the phone is really good. Video quality on the phone is really good nowadays. So you don't have to go buy all that fancy stuff out there. I mean, it's cool. It's nice to have, but
but be experimental. Whatever you do, be experimental.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really does. I know some of that equipment can get very expensive quick.
Oh yeah.
It's just amazing that you can buy a bear for $400 or $500, and it's like, wow, unbelievable.
It is.
Yeah.
Just because it lights up and it makes noises.
Yeah, absolutely.
Specific places. Yeah.
Absolutely.
If anybody watching this or listening to it is interested in buying any kind of paranormal equipment, we got a buddy that makes it. So his website's called deesghost.com. So like DEEZ and then ghost.com, and he makes all kinds of interesting things. So, and he's a pretty cool guy, and he doesn't do it to make necessarily make money. He does high quality stuff to help investigators get things that they need, and he's not one of the he's not Ghost Stop or anything like that trying to make $300-400 off something. So.
What does he make them out of?
Well, it all varies, and it comes from his brain and his.
I will get some things and bring them in, but I'll let him talk while I do it, and I'll bring
Okay.
some
Yeah.
demonstrations and show
Yeah,
you
that'd be
some
great.
stuff that I made. All right. I'll be
Yeah.
back. You go ahead.
Yeah, his name is Jesse, and you can find him on Facebook also. He has investigated with us at some different locations, and we've got to test out some of his gear. And, we've bought some. He's given us some, and it's a good relationship with him. He likes to see his stuff being used in the right way, and
That's
like
awesome.
yeah, and he just doesn't he doesn't charge an arm and a leg for it. So I would suggest really highly him to anybody. So.
Well, one thing I learned about the paranormal field is that the family and relationships are so close and they help each other.
It is like that.
Like,
It is like that. We really try to preach pair unity is what we call it. But at the same time, man, we run into a lot of people who aren't like that in this field. We run into a lot of people who are just jealous of other people's success and that kind of thing. And sometimes it really gets kind of crazy and just annoying. You don't want to deal with that. But for the most part, we all are like that. We like to share and our knowledge and our locations and that kind of thing. So
yeah. See, I met a guy the other night and he makes things too, and I was wondering if it's the same guy.
I don't know. Our buddy, his name is Jesse Stewart. He's like I said, he runs D's Ghost, and you can look him up on Facebook or just look at his website out of the way. But and then when you look at his stuff and what it does, and then you look at the prices, you'll understand.
Yeah, did he make one out of the green glob?
Well, he makes like a music box, a REM pod, or anything that kind of looks like a coffin. He makes these deals that kind of look like the cat balls that everybody really likes, but he calls them orbs. And he makes them out of like these little wicker things. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Those little orbs are neat. But yeah, man, he makes all kinds of stuff in any design and any kind of colors, anything like that. So yeah, that's an orb right there. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
All right. I brought some of the arsenal.
Pretty
And this is not by far, it might look like a lot of stuff that costs a lot of money, but this stuff's been being built and collected over like 3 years. So I don't
right.
a lot of money on anything. I'm a cheapo. I want my money's worth, but I'm not going to overpay for it.
Well, I don't blame you.
Yeah. But this is a lot of his pieces have this style, this body style, and it's a coffin. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
And this one, if you is a music box, and this is the sensor, and it triggers the music to come on.
Wow.
And you would sit that in a dark room, and if something passes the threshold of that sensor, it's going to set it off. This one is a REM pod. Same body style, different color. And he actually hand designs this part himself, like all of this webbing looking design. He did that himself. So this one, you would trigger by going within the magnetic field of it.
Right.
And that's how that one works. We have something completely different. I think the batteries are good. Let me see. And this is like a candle, but it has a little antenna here. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah.
Little bitty antenna right here.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's triggered to read to read positive and negative. I don't want to say energy, like maybe
Like static.
like EMF or electrons or something that's in the atmosphere. Because it has, and we tested it and it worked. It will come on, and then when energy changes or the say it's positive, and you walk somewhere that the field is negative, then antenna is going to turn this light off. If it's vice versa, if it's off and you're in negative and you move into a different field, then it's going to trigger it and turn it on. Vice versa, like on and off, and on whatever it is when you turn it on. Before it got switched the last time you used it from changing negative to positive energy field.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. And then this one is called the Para Ears. I don't have headphones plugged into it, but they plug into it. And this is a microphone that's super sensitive, like you would spy on somebody with.
Yeah.
There. And you can literally hear people far away from you, like whispering and stuff.
Yeah. That thing is crazy. You can hear people whispering from across a room that it's just, you hear them clear as day.
Even like farther than just a room away, like a normal
room for sure.
If you were in a warehouse or a big haunted location and there's like a basement and it's really big, you can hear them all the way, like 2 or 3 rooms across from you. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This one is also shaped like a coffin. I like the coffin design the best. That's what I picked. That's what I wanted. I just like the coffin. I like coffins, so. But he has other things you can order like that same thing, and he'll buy a really weird antique like metal lunchbox or like a treasure chest or something like a wooden chest or music box, and he'll transition it into the piece of equipment that you want. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty
It's
neat.
nice to have somebody like that around, because I know years ago when I was having my activity, I got on Amazon or eBay, and I was looking at equipment. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
For some of the stuff, the actual REM pods, what they
Like
were
this?
going for.
This is the cheapest thing you can get. One of these or like some housing like you can get almost, or a pendulum.
Yeah.
They're pretty cheap, but it's a really good tool to have because they work. So
that's pretty awesome.
We've used that just about on every investigation. We use it at big investigations like Waverly Hills, and
we even use regular hunting equipment, like you'd go out in the woods hunting, like like a trail cam.
Yep.
Put your SD card in there, like the highest SD card you can find, and put it in there and turn it on. It's going to be triggered by a motion sensor, like a headlamp. So you have your hands free and you don't have a flashlight, you can use a headlamp or a flashlight. A lot of flashlights. Different kinds of stuff. So it's not really that expensive for any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Now you said Waverly Hills.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom used to work there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I remember as a child, I'm only 48. I remember as a child walking in with my dad and getting bubble gum out of the machine.
Oh, wow.
Walked in. And
did you work there in like the 60s or the 70s or something? Or
yeah. Yeah, she sure did. And as a child, she used to play in the tunnel chutes for the body.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. And she was over at my house, I don't know, probably 12, 14 years ago, somewhere around there. And I think this is when Ghost Adventures went in there, and I actually recorded it. And I showed my mom, like, hey, come back here. Waverly Hills is on TV. And when she saw the graffiti and all the busted windows out, she was just, just taken back and just traught. Because the last memory she had, it was a working environment. So I try to get her to go talk to the new owners, because they wanted to talk to people that work there and about their memories and such. But she didn't want to do it. Yeah. I just think it's neat, because I hear so many people go to Waverly Hills. And when you all was there, what did y'all encounter?
We had an interesting night. we experienced all kinds of things from, like shadow people to, seeing what they call the creeper. I believe I saw him. And then we had some great communication I forget their names. Rosie, what was their names? In that room.
Audrey and Lois, two
All right.
sisters, had the same room together that were both sick.
Really?
Audrey, yeah.
Great responses in that room. So it was pretty cool.
Hello there.
Hi.
I talk cryptids.
I thought I said
So-
crystal.
Right.
I talk to crystals.
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
No,
It's-
no,
it's-
that's what I thought
Oh.
it said at first, but it does not. You're right. It says cryptids.
Oh, I'm half blind as it is, so.
I talk to crystals. I got a crystal here. Hey, nanu.
But you know what? And a lot of people use crystals and stuff, and it's just amazing to hear what people use and
Mhm.
and so forth. It's just crazy. It really is. And everybody tells me what a creeper is. Can you tell the audience what a creeper is?
Yeah. The creeper is just he's a negative entity. There, Waverly. I'm not gonna say he's demonic or anything like that, but he just likes to do things to people, like pull hair, push them, or I think
He
even
did
one of our
strike
punch.
some people.
Yeah, I'm gone.
He did attack some people.
Yeah, and then I saw him, but he didn't. He didn't attack me. When I went to where he was at the time, standing, he wasn't there no more. I'm sure I didn't scare him away. I guess he just didn't want to mess with me. I don't know, but I only saw him. I only saw him for, I don't know. It was probably a second and a half or so. He was standing in the doorway, and we were across another hallway, and I saw him. I went straight there, and then he was gone, and I didn't see him again. So, but
Was you not afraid?
no, me, no, I don't get scared about that stuff. But I want to be there. Like if I see it, I would like to touch it, but I don't really get that as much as I get more like the nagging stuff, my shirt being pulled on or my ear being pulled or
Never nagging by me because I get spiritually and emotionally and like psychologically attacked by that stuff. So I don't like to deal with it in any way, shape, or form. I am out of. If I know that it's not good, then I'm going away from it until I like want to come back and like reinforce and like regroup.
right.
Come back, make sure I sage and I like, draw my cross on my forehead with some holy water and say some prayers. And then I'm like, okay, now let's go back.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jason. I'll make sure I can outrun you. If I can't, I'll trip you with my cane. So that's for sure.
when I experience something, I want it to happen again, and that's I want it to be like, man. I get excited. I want it to be. I want to know like how that happened, why you doing that, I got a big piece of glass thrown at me, hit me in the shoulder at one time.
Oh wow!
Most people would run out of that area. I'm just kind of like I want it to happen again. Do it again. Just,
Well, in the Bible, people says, "Oh Lord, do not bring up religion when it comes to the paranormal Bigfoot," but it intertwines. I'm sorry.
I
In
think
the
everything
Bible,
intertwines.
yeah, in the Bible, God said that He threw out a third of His angels from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
When He said that, He didn't say He casted them into hell. So I interpret that as they are walking upon this earth. And I think this is where we get some of these entities and creepers and other things. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
No, I agree with that.
Then you got dimensions that come in and out. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
I say it's possible, I guess, yeah. But I mean, that's just the thing. You know, it's like we don't know. We don't know what they are. We don't know where they come from, right? You know, and you know, people who call themselves experts to do this thing, you know, do these what we do. There is no experts. You know, there is nobody that's a professional. You know what I mean? Um, because it's always changing. We're always learning, and then it's never the same. And then you know, just because some people think just because certain people are on TV, they're experts. That's not the case.
It's
You
actually
know,
usually the opposite.
you can
Right,
be you can
right.
be you can be a doctor in something, sure, you know, and you can study parapsychology and that kind of thing. But you know, if you're saying you're a professional paranormal investigator, I mean, that's just not the case. It's not true with any of it. So, um, you know, those guys just they got a lucky break and they're on TV. They're doing the exact same thing that we are. You know, so there's no difference.
And you're right. They are using the same techniques. They may be using more expensive, equipment, but
Right? Yeah.
they are doing the exact same thing when it comes to EVPs and equipment and answering or asking questions and wanting answers and so forth.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that, you know, they'll go to a place for a week and all that's edited down to make a show, you know, an hour long.
Right,
Make it look exciting, things are happening, things are
Yeah,
flying.
and they could even edit it to make it over exaggerated from what it really probably is. I'm not saying all of them do that.
right.
They can do that. I've heard that some have done that.
Oh yeah. I was talking last night to a gentleman and we brought that subject up. They'll do a show, for 40 hours and narrow it down to an hour, and it's
Right.
like it's hopping and hopping and they're getting all these responses and so forth. So yeah, I mean I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It definitely doesn't work that way. You know, I've said this in other interviews and said it, you know, when we're doing you know, when we're having our stage time at conventions or whatever, but it's a you know, it's most of the time it's just us sitting in the dark talking to ourselves. You know, it's
Or when you're talking to people and you go to their house and they think that just because you arrived that everything's gonna go batshit, crazy.
Right. Right.
And you're like sitting there for hours and hours and nothing happens.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like you can flip on a light switch and da-da, they're there.
that's
I mean,
exactly
they're
right.
gonna come when they want to come.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's on their times, on their
Like
terms.
Jason is here, attack him. I've even tried that and it doesn't
Right.
work.
Right.
That doesn't work either.
And
I mean,
a
that's
lot
it,
of times,
it's the truth.
yeah, a lot of times when things happen, it's when we're just sitting around having, you know, a conversation with each other, and we're like, "Dude, did you see that? Or did you hear that? You know, or whatever it is." But it's not because we. It's not necessarily when we're sitting being quiet and asking them to do something for us, because they're not a they're not a circus show. They don't perform for us. You know what I mean?
That's a
So
good way to
Yeah.
yeah,
It is.
so they might try to do something while we're just BSing with each other, and then just wondering if we catch it. Like, oh, I'll mess with them now, they're not paying attention to me. But um, you know uh, it's one thing too that some of these big famous locations that people go to every weekend, I'm sure they get sick and tired of people coming there and asking them the same questions, over and over and over and over all the time. So um, it's like we're coming into a place and they're like, oh man, here comes these people again wanting me to knock on a wall, you know,
right.
it's, I'm sure it's
Probably.
annoying, I'm sure it's annoying. Um, but sometimes there is those cases where they do, and they really want to try to communicate with you, not perform for you, so there's a difference, you know, I think anyway.
So, what has been your most experiencing investigation that y'all been through?
Hmm. Well, I mean, we've been to a lot of places. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily categorize anything as being scared. Uh, as far as like it's going to make us run out of the building, we haven't really experienced that yet, or at least I haven't.
I have. I didn't run though. Left for my own well-being because I felt like I was getting sick, really like sick. So
That's totally different. That's totally different. When she
yeah, wasn't
when she
running. I was just like, I think I need to go outside because no, I don't feel right.
because they do attack her emotionally and stuff, and that I mean I don't get it, so I can't say that I feel like what she's going through on that, but I can understand it. That's a totally different feeling than being scared and being run out of somewhere.
Right.
But
Right.
that's different.
I'm not really scared of them. I prefer to have them elaborate why they're there and why would they do that. Like, are they trying to intimidate someone or scare them away? Are they trying to make us relive their death? Are they trying to, communicate something that they don't know how to say in words, or because they're not in physical form, they can't tell us standing in front of us? I prefer not to run away unless I, just feel like I'm gonna like vomit or like my mind is just kind of like discombobulated or something like that.
Right.
But it'd be better to know, like, if you're going to go there and spend all that time and effort to try to figure something out, get some kind of clues, evidence.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And we got we've captured some great things on video and film and EVPs and things like that. Or like I said earlier, things getting thrown at me. That's exciting to me. But I think one of the coolest things that we ever did investigating was having a conversation with a little boy at a TB hospital that was communicating with her. I still think that was really cool.
Yeah.
It's just because I felt like he was, just wanting somebody to talk to, and then he was just telling us things that like a little kid would do. He was, what was his name? Joshua, Josh, right? Joshua.
Josh, his name is Josh. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was just kind of like, don't leave me here, kind of thing. But I want y'all to stay. I want y'all to stay, hang out with us. And of course, we had to move on, but we've been there a couple times, and then I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, me too. And we did go back. We did. It took us over a year to come back and to see him again, but we did go back. We kept our word, and we had to wait because we didn't have a choice. But coronavirus rules and stuff, We did go
Yeah.
back to him again, though. That was pretty interesting. But I think also the weirdest experience for me, like having to leave a place and making you feel like really sick and just like I don't know, like you might be gonna like vomit or something, and your mind kind of is discombobulated. It was Little Rock, Arkansas, at the Fee House, and that happened to me there. And it made me also really angry, like beyond like my control, which was really weird. So I went outside and I was like, I think to like check out for a minute and just hang out and get some fresh air.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was just trying to order pizza, and she's wanting to go down there and beat them up because they're.
Well, I was trying to order pizza, and I was like, Jason, you need to order this pizza before I go through the phone and I choke this guy.
Wow.
Can't handle him. You just got to do it because I was just getting really mad. The guy sounded like he didn't want to be there, didn't want to do the job, didn't want to get the pizza to us, and I was just like, can't handle it. Get this guy.
Yeah.
It was just bad timing. I was trying to order pizza, and then her being
Yeah.
attacked like that there.
The guy probably thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
I was talking to a gentleman last night, and it's weird that you bring up the little boy and stuff. And he was teaching his nephew how to do the paranormal stuff, and he's been to this house I don't know how many times, but he's a split off from Taps. So everything that he does goes through him. He validates it or not, then Taps takes over. Make a long story short, on the way out, he got two EVPs. One was get out. The second one is I'm gonna kill one of the babies. And he got home and his phone rang, and the mother of the house was hysterical. the 14-year-old daughter upstairs just died all of a sudden.
Oh my
And
God.
they did an autopsy on her, and she died of a massive heart attack.
Oh wow.
So, was it a coincidence? I couldn't tell you, but to me, I think things can harm you.
Yeah, they can.
They do.
Yeah. But
So,
this is going to sound crazy probably, but I bet you that she was going to die anyways, and he just happened to be in the right place at the right time to hear
probably.
the harbinger that was about to take her. This is going to sound crazy, like I said, but I've actually dealt with stuff like this before. Believe it or not, I've seen reapers more than one time. I've seen
Oh,
reapers.
wow.
I've had reapers come to me in my sleep. I've had reapers come to me when I'm awake. My daughter's seen them. And it sounds like to me that something was already there. Maybe I don't know if it was good or bad. It was going to take her anyways, and it was just basically warning them.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Like
Yeah.
unseen forces at work that you can't see with your naked eye. You know what I mean? We can't see that stuff with our naked eye.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree, and that's one thing about being in the paranormal field is having an open mind to everything. It's because some of the stuff we experience, people would think we're crazy, or places we go that, well, I should say places that we want to go that people are like, why would you go there when all this happened, or there's obviously something still there. Why would you want to be there? It's like, because our mission is to find answers to what was going on, and how are these things existing in our environment, in our plane, and how are they able to interact with us? It's like we want to know that. So that's the whole point of all of it. It's not it's not to just do something for a hobby. You know, if it was a choice of mine, it'd be something I'd be doing for a career. But it's that intense, and it's that you are that passionate about it. Especially once you've done it for a while and start kind of understanding things a lot better. You want to find out. That's just it. You want to find out.
Oh, that's true. And that's what a lot of people want, are answers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, absolutely. Have y'all ever had anything follow you home?
That's happened.
Sort of, yeah. I would say yes.
And how do you deal with it?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, one, we take precautions as best we can before we leave an area. We'll say a protection prayer, and we'll be anointed with holy oil, and tell the spirits they have to stay there. And for the most part, they do. But for sometimes they do follow you. And I've not dealt with anything really intense. I've woke up with scratches on my arms and stuff, but nothing real crazy. But
That's real crazy.
yeah, it doesn't scare me. So I think the point to that is, like, if you do give it the energy of being afraid of it, then it will stick around and be worse. But me, I'm like, damn it, he got me. But whatever. I'll go about my day. But I don't let it bother me. Her, it'd be different, because it wouldn't necessarily attack her physically, because it knows it's like, if I mess with her hair, she's gonna be like, I don't give a crap about that. No way. But so it attacks her emotionally.
Right,
Sure.
there's things popping up from the Temple of Phoenix on my screen, and I'm just like, go away, go away. I'm not.
Yeah.
I will say something. You're gonna think this is crazy, but Jason knows about it. It sounds kind of crazy. There was a case when we first started doing this, and we weren't really like that like informed about how to like cleanse and how to like protect yourself and techniques like that. And there was a person whose house I had gone to try to help them out, and they had said that they conjured up an evil witch. Okay, so take
Oh,
that with
Lord.
whatever kind of take that with however you want to receive that. And they said they'd conjured up an evil witch. I was like, okay, do I believe this or not? I'm not sure. I don't know what to believe at first, anyways. Then coming home, and having weird stuff happening, After that, I started, opening my mind up more and more of my doors and, like what is really out there. I was making soap in the kitchen and my daughter was here and it was me and her only. And she was in her bedroom and I was in the kitchen using a double boiler to make some soap. And I buy huge soap blocks of like goat's milk soap and then I just the individual bars. Well, I cut them up usually with a soap cutter. It's like a square shaped thing with a handle. I cut them up with that.
Right.
Well, I couldn't find it and I had a butter knife. And so I was going to cut the soap with a butter knife, but I hadn't started yet. And I left the room and went to the living room to get a soda pop that I left in there. And I came back and I kid you not, there were 3 slices in my bar of soap and the knife was sticking up in it.
Yeah, no.
So following me home, yes and no, because it could have followed me from that person's house, but it also could have because me and that person were in connection together and I was trying to help them and it didn't want me to do that. It could have just made its own way to my house and didn't actually follow me. It just sought me out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's where you get to the scary part. You're minding your own business and you don't know really that stuff's going to happen to you and it just does. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's like she said there too. It's like when we first started doing things, we were kind of ignorant to the ways that we needed to be doing things. And what's really cool about that is that there's no roadmap. There's no like this is how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to other people and how they do it, it doesn't mean that's the way you need to do it. You develop your own methods and your own way of doing things, and you learn from your mistakes. And then, as you go, you get more experienced and more seasoned into what we do in this field, and it just you're better prepared for things now. And there again, it goes up to there's no experts in this field, but you do learn things the hard way sometimes, and then you know what to do the next time. So, but everybody's going to develop their own way of doing it, and they should, because I don't want to be like people watching us and the way we do investigations. They might pick up some tricks and some techniques and stuff that we do, but they don't need to be doing it the same way we do. It might not be right for them as far as their methods.
And they don't need to just go in the very beginning. I don't think this is smart because people have been with us doing this. Don't just go balls to the wall in the very beginning and think that you're invincible and you're just going to say whatever and do whatever to anybody's location, property, or any spirit. You can just say what you want to, and there's not going to be repercussion because I promise you, eventually there will.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people always ask me, they're like, Grizzly, I want you to watch this video and tell me if it's fake or real. And guys, we'll be honest. We've seen videos and we know in our heart that this is just a hoax, right?
Huh?
Not real video or pictures or photo cropped or Photoshop. And I always say, well, we always got little Johnny out in the woods drunk running around in a monkey suit trying to play jokes on people. But A, I wasn't there, and 2, I didn't take the video or photo. And that's the way I leave it. I don't judge because some people in their heart believe in what they taken or took, and they swear up and down in their minds that it's real and it's not fake. But you and I can look at it and be like, no, there's no way. But, I'm studying psychology and it's really rough for me because, we have to give diagnoses to people. And it's really rough because we shove medicine down people's throat and send them on their way. And not everybody has, schizophrenia.
No.
Not everybody has, false people talking in their heads or speaking to them.
Nope.
Some of it's real.
Yeah.
It really is real. But today's society, you're hearing people speak to you. Here's some meds, take this, and you'll be fine. So I had to overcome that boundary in the very beginning, and it actually took me a while to get past that because I kept saying, the kids are pure; they're probably telling the truth. And I'm not saying all of them are. Some people may need medication. Some people may have mental health issues. But how can you distinguish that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you
Or
can
how
take
can you
that.
distinguish if someone is hyper alert or if they're actually in tune and they're sensitive and they're empathic and they're just feeling something that no one can see and they feel it, no one else does, and they're called
Right,
D or ADHD or they're called bipolar or whatever,
right.
Yeah. I've always,
And usually you can trace it from the kids to the parents or the kids from the grandparents if it skipped a generation. So, it's just hard. It really is. And with
Yeah.
your all investigations and so forth, um, what is the worst fear that y'all may have doing an investigation?
The worst.
uh,
I
if
mean,
a household that we were dealing with, if like a kid got harmed or something, or a kid got, like something terrible happened to a child, maybe even if it was after we left and we know about it, but we like if we ever get like word that it's like a kid's coming to their parent and they're saying something's going on. The kids have big imaginations sometimes, but it's better to just go check and see and try to find out what it is. But I think my worst fear would be if like I left somewhere and a child ended up dead or something and it was really unexplainable and it seemed like something that could have possibly been supernatural. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Anytime a kid would be involved in anything that we uh, determined was at the end of the day not something to worry about, and something did happen because that's on us. Um, I also think that being as far as our worst fears of anything physically or anything happened to us, I feel like that's kind of beside the point because we put ourselves in those situations. So if something does happen to us, that's part of the that's part of the job.
I'm not usually afraid when we're investigating. I'd be more afraid of traveling somewhere to and from there.
Really?
Yeah, like humans. Be more afraid of humans that can do stuff that's dumb and that can make you get hurt than spirits.
There we go. That's for the humans.
Right.
Zombified. Zombies.
That's right. But, have you all ever been tricked into coming somewhere and it's just been all BS?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Kind of
Now,
frustrating.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Those things happen. Whatever the reasons they're wanting to fabricate things to make a case famous, or try to use us that way, or try to pull tricks or fake evidence and things like that. That's it does happen, unfortunately.
And
I
that's
can
so
usually tell.
sad. It really is.
I feel like I can usually tell if they're full of crap, though. I don't know why. I just have good LiDAR.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can usually tell if they're full of crap.
Now, can you tell when you're there or can you tell on the phone?
Sometimes either or both. Like I always connect the dots and I always build a case from the very beginning. Like if they say something that's an extraordinary claim, then you're going to start with, okay, we're going to have to prove this is happening. Just like you're going to court or something. You got to prove it happened. You got to prove that this is real. You got to prove you're a victim or prove something happened. You know what I mean? The proof is in the pudding. And then from the very beginning, ask them to send you photos or video, or ask them to send you an EVP or anything anything that they can show you that's any kind of shred of evidence that they're not full of doo doo.
Right, right.
Not
And
saying that they are, but
I do the
Right.
same thing with my show. I always ask them what you talk about. Ask a few questions up front because I got people that always want to come on the show and they want to BS their way, and you can
yeah.
tell. And when you go live, I can cut the live off real quick, real easy and quickly by just the hit of a button.
Right.
But I try to cut that off before it even happens. I really do.
Yeah. There has been cases that, like, like she'll say something like, "Hey, this person's reached out to us," or I might get a message and then tell her about it, and then I just I got this feeling about it. It just ain't something's not right. So,
Mhm.
and she does that a lot.
Sometimes though, he has surprised me recently with him thinking that, and I wasn't sure, and he actually got like there was validation on him thinking something was kind of shady. I guess you'd say like shady. That would make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Are y'all ever come across anybody that has been possessed or an item possessed in the house?
Well, I was kind of hoping you'd ask something like that too, because you know, you do this kind of thing, you know, so long, and then you compete with the TV shows. Everybody brings up Ghost Adventures because it's the most popular show. I mean, it just is. It's been going for a while. They really kind of help bring the paranormal mainstream, I guess, and more popular than it really ever has been. But at the same time, you know, when we go deal with a case, whether it's far off or even a location somewhere, um, we're not getting possessed every 5 minutes. It doesn't happen that way. The TV shows figure make it look like there's demonic activity everywhere, and then there's demons all over the place, and then it's just, I mean, demonic cases are very, very rare, and they'd really be hard to
There are different levels too of possession or like attachment or like infestation and stuff like that. And different permissions would need to be given. I believe that's a theory and I believe it. You'd have to give something permission or open the door and say, hey, come on in, whoever you are. You'd have to kind of give a little bit of permission, I feel like, for some of that stuff to take place too.
Well, in some of the shows, they do use my body as a vessel.
Yep. Yep.
So, and I'm like, wow, you're crazy for saying that.
we will offer up our energy. That's totally different, and that's voluntary. Not everybody needs to do that. Not everybody can, but if we're just wanting to amplify a situation, sometimes we will say that they can use our energy, and I have, but I'll never say they can use me as a vessel or anything. I'm not going to give them permission for that. But
that would be a big elaborate thing that we would have to have, like a big sit down and a big like planned out like agenda for something like that.
And if we run into those cases where we were suspect that that's happening, I mean, we're gonna pass that up the chain. We're gonna pass that on to somebody else that has way more experience as far as demonic activity. We'll contact a demonologist or even a priest. But that's above our pay grade, and that's one thing too. It's very important to not pretend you can do something that you don't know how to do, because it's dangerous.
Yes, I agree with that. So far, anything that has been close to that, I did have a situation that I went and investigated. The girl that was there, I won't say any names of anybody, was claiming possession, and I, after investigating and interviewing her, recording and getting, like EVPs or voice box sessions or doing a deep cleansing of their home, I caught her scratching herself with a screw or a nail. And then I told her boyfriend that I thought that she should really go see a doctor because I felt like she was.
Self-mutilation.
Huh?
Self-mutilation.
Well, that's number one. You need to go see somebody for that, counseling for that. But I felt like she was making her eyes roll in the back of her head or she was having a mini seizures, which has nothing to do with possession or demonic possession. It doesn't mean you're demonically possessed because you're having a seizure. You need to see a professional doctor for that so they can figure out why you're doing it. It's dangerous. We can't fix that.
Yeah. And with that being said, we have been at places that claim to have demonic activity. And we know that, going there beforehand. And I feel like we experienced it in a way, I guess, but like not like face to face or a demon's right there, or something like that. But the the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells, Texas, is an example of that, and it's a
Yeah.
there you know there's something there. I can tell you that. That's not just a regular spirit.
Yeah, I agree.
You
And we
ever mess with the Ouija board?
The Ouija board. You know, all of us dumb kids probably have at one time or another. You know, because you see it on TV. But you know, I have one over here in my bookshelf, actually, here in my office. But I don't I don't use it. It's not for. I don't have it to use.
it's for collection. Like I collect things, and it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Right.
ever.
I have it to use to set up when we go to different paracons and things like that on our table, just to draw eyes to it, you know. But
Even take mine to somewhere like that because mine's a Stranger Things like special edition Ouija board, and I'm like, nobody's touching it. I don't want anybody touching it.
Absolutely.
I feel like using the wrong way for sure. They can be ways, and that's just the thing. Sometimes about a door, you don't know what you're opening yourself up to. So.
Now,
Yeah.
when y'all go into places, do you all actually see things in your mind that just comes to you, like flashbacks of pictures or memories or any of that sort?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I've never experienced that, but yeah, I can see.
Even on the there, sometimes, like when we went one place, I told Jason I felt like that so and so spirit knew that we were on our way to this location, and I didn't know anything about it other than what was posted on the internet. And when we got there and went on the tour, I can't, verify the information from any like hard copy source, but from what the person that gave us the tour told us, the two people that they identified was the two people that I identified knew we were coming as a spirit. And they were telling a story to us. And I was like, well, there's the first spirit that girl mentioned. And then after that, there was another one that I was like, this weird place makes me feel anxious. Like I want to go smoke a bunch of cigarettes because I don't feel like this person wants us here. And she had said such and such spirit. I can't remember what the spirit's name is. I forget, but was very unsettled, very mentally off and dangerous spirit.
So, what goes through your mind when you hear that?
From her,
Yeah,
after
when you hear that information and the information that you get before you get there.
sometimes I don't know like what to think, and I just try to like mentally like just like mentally jot it down or something to see if when I get there, because I don't ever believe that anything is like 100%. Even myself, I want to prove myself, like to myself, not to anybody else. I want to prove to myself, is this really, really what I'm picking up, or is this really not what I'm picking up? Because it could be someone's emotions sitting in a car with me. It could be somebody I ran into at the gas station because I got out and used the bathroom. You know what I mean? Or it could be a spirit
Right.
that's there. It's kind of confusing sometimes as you're growing like that and you're learning this stuff. It's kind of confusing how you pinpoint and become accurate and confident in what you're picking up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get that validation, you know, back to you, that's, I mean,
Good. It's a good feeling. It makes you happy.
yeah, I mean, you're like, yeah, okay, that's it. I knew that. That's cool. But you know, it's cool that you can have that reassurance that you're just not making shit up to yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you could be doing that. A lot of us could be doing that. If you have a big imagination, you can imagine, the sky's the limit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree on that. I really do.
Like when haunted objects you were talking about. Sometimes I think people are full of crap when I look on eBay and see all these haunted objects and these stories about them. I'm like, they just made that up. I don't know if they did or not, but half of them did,
Right.
Yeah.
just to sell something and make money.
Yeah, that's true. They want their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, they're $300 for something they got at a garage sale.
Yeah, And I've seen people sell tickets just for a tour of their home.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy, yeah.
Oh wow. That's crazy.
Trick the people poll, I'm telling you. So when you go into investigations, how many have you done this far, you think? Approximately.
Whew. Man.
We should sit down and write that down because when we first started, I made case files for every place we went. Sorry, my nose was in
Oh, you're
allergy.
fine.
But when we first started, I made case files. In the last 3 years, like, do you think like 30 or 40?
A lot, yeah. There's a
least,
lot.
At least 30-ish. 30-ish. And some people are like in the hundreds because they go all the time, but we both have jobs and like, other stuff we have to do too.
Right. It'd be different. It'd be a different ball game for us. When and if we're able to get sponsored like we want. So,
Yeah. And we're kind
that's
of
gonna.
picky, actually. We're kind of picky who we go with, and we're kind of picky where we go and what goes on, just because we've worked with other teams before and we've worked with other venues before. And the more you put your stuff out there and the more you do, you'll like kind of start to find a couple of like bad apples, like in the field.
Oh, yeah.
Them, you kind of like, well, lesson learned. You can get mad about it. You can want revenge, or you can just like the lesson is learned. And next time moving forward, we're just going to be more aware.
Right. Right. That's the only thing you can do, really.
Yeah.
Right. We just keep moving forward, and we've had great opportunities come our way, and a lot of stuff coming down the pipe in the future that we're going to be a part of, and then all the interviews that we've given, and these national magazines that we're in, and these paracons we're always at, and stuff like that.
That's funny. I was waiting for you to say it. Like I was reading your mind.
It's not; those things aren't just given to us. We've built our reputation, and we've built the way we do things, and people want us to be part of those things, and that just proves how hard we work and what we put into it.
And
And then
you earned it. You earned it.
I do. You're right. And this is the thing about it. First off, anybody can be at this point, and and we can be where we want to be at some point. It just depends, on the work you want to put into it and the effort. But we say this all the time. I mean, we're no better than anybody else. And no matter how big we get, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and we'll take time out for everybody. And it should be that way. And we'll help guide people coming up that's just getting into it, and then hopefully open doors for them too, because that's what it's all about. There's not a lot of people that's opening doors for us, but we've built that to where we can move where we want to be.
Right.
Sometimes you got to knock on them for a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
you sure do.
It's just unfortunately kind of what she was talking about. When we get to those places to where we're up here where we want to be, people see that and get jealous, and then
I was meaning like some people like just are cutthroat is basically kind of what I meant. Like that's anything that you do, really, like any activity you pick to do, or anything that's a competitive type of field, or any job that you get, they're gonna have people there. But like, unfortunately, the more you put yourself out there, you got to kind of be like prepared for that.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I know me personally and her, and as a team, it's like I'm not jealous of anyone else, but to where we want to be, if we want to be in the same situations where some people are, we're gonna work at it and get there. But people may see the opportunities that we have now, but it wasn't like that when we started. We had to build it.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, and you actually worked your way up to where you're at.
Yeah.
And you're doing solid work. You're
It's
not
been a lot of
fabricating anything. You're not blowing things out of proportion. You know, you're not hearing something knock on the wall or something fall and
Yeah.
like, that's a ghost. Did you hear
Yeah.
that? You know,
Exactly.
so, you
Yeah.
know, there's a lot of credibility there.
Right, and that's a big part of why we do the way we do things is because if you follow our page on Facebook, not Terry Collective, just follow that page, and when we do investigations, we do our investigations live. So you see what we see when we see it.
record it if not, because sometimes it's better to take a video camera also as a backup, because if you go live and your battery dies and that's all you've got, that's all you've got.
Right.
Sometimes it's recorded, but it's recorded because we had to, or it was a backup, for
Right.
evidence from a different perspective or something.
Right.
Our stuff is never edited is what I'm getting at. So I mean, it's like it's the way it is, the way we see it when we see it. So it's pretty cool that way, and that way you have less chance of people thinking you're faking something if something happens or whatever. So.
Now,
Yeah.
what would be your all's words for people just getting into the phenomenon?
Yeah, and just find your lane and stay in it. Don't don't try to be like somebody else, and don't just do your thing and be happy, and then you'll develop your own method. You'll develop your own way of doing things. You'll find out what kind of equipment you really like and stick with it. And you might you want to buy the fancy stuff, that's fine. Nobody does it the right way, because there is no right way. Do it your way.
I think you should blaze your own path is what I blaze your path and blaze it hard.
Rosary, I think that you need to open the door in your psychic world a lot more. I think there's a lot more to you than what you wanna believe. I really do. I think there's an inner self that needs to be tapped.
Yeah, I do too. I just have yet to I'm working on it. I will say that. I've done a lot of self work and what they call like healing and shadow work and stuff like that.
Right.
So that I can be prepared for that in the right way. That I feel like what I feel is the right way. So I'm not opening up and saying, hey, all these dark things and people and evil conjured up witches come to play with me and scare the crap out of me and attack me. I don't want that happening anymore, because I guess I kind of tried. I kind of tried to put my foot and my toe in that water.
Well, I have 2 mediums in my group that are admins. I know they would probably reach out and help you.
Well, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would be thankful, grateful.
I think one of them works with the police to solve unsolved murder cases. So, I mean, I see a lot in her that can be abstracted and fine-tuned that can help your all's investigations. Me, I don't know. There's some people that just have it and they can't turn it off. Like I interviewed this one girl and her boyfriend, and she's a medium, and I thought the tarot cards had the power. She's like, no, those are puzzle pieces that are just dumped in your lap, and you try to put it together. So she corrected me on that.
That's kind of accurate, sort of. Yeah, I feel like she's kind of.
Yeah, and she was talking, and she's like, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you this. And she just went on and started talking to me about stuff that she had no idea about. And now I'm sitting here thinking, this can't be happening live. I mean, nobody knows about this. Nobody knows about my unmarked police car I almost had a wreck in, several years ago. And she was just telling me stuff about my cancer, what side it was. And I mean, just went on and on and on. So it just blew my mind. And she says she'll be walking in the store and, she tries to walk past people and she's like, hey, stop this person. And she would have to stop the person and say, hey, I know this may sound crazy, but I believe your aunt's coming through. And I mean, people take it and listen and they're really thankful, but I don't know if I could handle that day in and day out.
I don't do that all the time because some people are not. They're not okay with that. They're not like literally. Some people are not okay with you saying stuff like that.
See, I would be. I guess I'm different.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
like I do readings and I do like live or like FaceTime readings and like spirit
I knew there was
sessions.
more to you.
Yeah, I just do it privately.
I knew there was more to you. I knew it. See, Jason, I'm pulling more stuff out of her.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
What else do y'all have about investigations?
We do the Estes method very often, and we have done it for a very long time. Over maybe 2 years, we've done the Estes method. It's now
Okay.
like really like reached a popularity, I'd say.
Now, what's that?
You go ahead,
Yeah.
Jason.
Okay. So yeah, that's
More
really kind of that's kind of really been one of our staples, one of our main things that we do on investigations, and people kind of expect it from us now. Really, they kind of want us to do it. So it's kind of neat to have that kind of a signature thing in your back pocket. But what it is you take a spirit box and it's scanning the radio stations at a certain level, frequency, and that kind of thing. Yeah. So what she does, she puts on noise canceling headphones and plugs into that spirit box, and then puts a blindfold on. And we're doing this obviously in the dark, so she can't see or hear me at all, and she's listening to the spirit box. Has it turned up loud? Can't hear nothing. Can't see nothing. Well, in that same time, I'm asking real time questions. Like if you could tell us your name, that'd be appreciative, or just whatever it may be. And the answers come through on the spirit box. She gets them and says them out loud, and it validates the questions I'm asking because obviously she has no idea what I'm asking at all. So it's pretty cool. Wow. It's a good tool. Yeah, it works really well. We've had some great success with that.
Yeah, at the place that I told you that
That's
I had to
crazy.
leave, the place that I told you I
Uh-huh.
had to walk out of and leave that made me sick. The owner had some health issues that hadn't been like, I don't think they had been identified or pinpointed yet. Some really bad health issues. And when we were doing the Estes method, I let him sit in the room with us and ask some questions because he was curious and he wanted to. And we got along really well and he seemed pretty cool. And as he was asking those questions, it was actually instead of answering the questions Jason wanted to know or like the paranormal world wanted to know, it was actually saying words that were answers to questions that the owner, like they were validation and like warning or like information that was for him specifically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. That was to me a
Impressive.
validation of like an intelligent interaction and an intelligent experience, like not just random, like words that could have been played back that could have kind of resonated with what you asked. Like they were literally like things like telling him about, like maybe like warning him about his health or warning him about like and telling him some questions and things that he had wondered about himself and been thinking about and then been worried about. They were just specific to him, and it was really kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's cool the way it works. It's cool to get the answers to the questions I'm asking, and when she has no clue what I'm saying at all, she can't hear me. So
Sometimes
it,
when I have the answer, I'm like, "What are you asking? What am I saying? What are you asking? Like I don't know what's going on."
So, do y'all film this when y'all do this, or?
Yeah,
yeah,
usually.
yeah, we usually do. It's always like I said, it'll be live on our page at the time, and we'll go live and do an SS method. Then everybody's it's one of her, it's become one of their favorite things to watch us do.
So, what else do you do that works very successfully in your investigations?
Yeah, we like to keep it simple, and we like to ask different questions that may not be just like mainstream, like people would ask all the time. What's your name? How old are you? Did you live here and all that kind of thing? Whatever, but it's like kind of develop more questions like, what's your favorite candy? Or we have a trigger,
Yeah.
she'll have candy in her pocket, or like, you like this, or it's that kind of thing. It's just thinking outside the box, and we get good reaction with that because it's different. It's different for them, so I like it.
Yeah, it's not the redundant questions that people
Yeah.
always ask, like you said.
Right.
That's pretty wild.
So
I tell you what, y'all have just blown my mind. So it's pretty impressive. It really is. Y'all have anything else to add?
Well, yeah, if you want to follow, anybody watching wants to follow all of our social media, that'd be great. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. Twitter.
How they get a hold of you? Name it.
Do I know?
Yeah, how they get a hold of you? What's your Facebook name, Twitter name, Instagram?
Not too aggressive. We have 2 different pages on Facebook. We have a business page and we have a group page. So follow both of those.
Not terribly.
Yeah, it's not terribly on all the social media. And then if anybody's going to be in the Kansas City area coming up towards the end of this month, we'll be at a paranormal convention up there. So look us up on that. We'll have it posted on our page and stuff too. So.
And we also do a show on Wednesday nights.
And where's that located at?
It is located on, you can look on the YouTube called The Spectral Sailor. You can look on Facebook under The Spectral Sailor, or you can go to Temple of Phoenix Entertainment at the network page, and there's a lot of different shows on. You can go to that page to watch it also.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. Jason Walker, Rosary. This is Grizzly from Lexington, Kentucky, from coast to coast, around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining the show and everything. You all have been great. Absolutely great.